Welcome back in, everybody. Another edition of the 4D Dynasty Football Trade Show coming at you right now. As always, please like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Helps us out. And on the podcast, rate and review. And without further ado, let me kick it over to my main man, the host, the better half of 4D Chess. Adam, how we doing tonight? Adam, you ready to do some trades, buddy?
Mike, I'm doing well, buddy. We're ready to. Of course we're ready to. Dynasty Trade Show, week in and week out. Let's see what the good people, Mike, have brought to us. Let's talk about them.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We got some trades. And I'm not hammered this time, so we're going to be even better, more coherent. I'm not going to be talking about doing the gritty, whatever.
Speaking of hammered, let's take a look at Mike's deal where he just hammered out some value here.
What's up? Dameon Pierce. He's a hot topic right now, isn't he, Adam?
Yeah,
Big time hot topic. I sent away Dameon Pierce, one of my Dameon Pierce shares. In return, got a 25 first and a 23 second. Adam, I know second doesn't seem like much and 25 so far away, but to me, when I made the deal, this is a rebuilding team for me too, so I don't give a shit about production at this point. I'm just looking for value, but 25, even though it's so long away, do you like getting a first and a second for this?
I do. I'll say this too. I'm sure the people, whoever's looking at this or listening to this on podcast, you're thinking 25 first, that's so far away. I'll be honest. We don't really know how good the 25 class is going to be at this point, right? But I'll say this. The same words were being said last year this time, Mike, when I was acquiring the 24 picks. And right now, we feel really good about the 24 class. And what's certain about even the 25 class, regardless of how the players turn out, is that pick is going to accrue value. To your point, too, in this trade, for you, if you're in a rebuild and we play, this is best ball, right? So you're actually looking to get the points off of your roster. So you're getting a first. For me right now, Dameon Pierce at a 23 first is an easy sell candidate. If you need to go get a running back and Dameon Pierce is someone you're comfortable with, like he's going to play this year. I'm not sending a 23 first for him, but he's going to put points on the board. But you're also getting the 23 second here, Mike, which I think in best ball is a big thing. You're getting two assets. One is very far away, and I think ultimately you're looking to move off of Dameon Pierce at a point where you believe is a good pivot spot. So I like to trade for you. I'm not doing this if I was Little Man 19. I think there's probably some people that say, man, that 25 first is so far out, you can recoup the value later. If that's how you think, that's fine. For me, I do not want to send a first and a second, even if it's 3 years out, for Dameon Pierce.
I like my man, Little Man, if he's watching, which I don't think he does because he never follows anything that we do as far as principles go. But I've been in a league with him for a while. He's pushed in every year for the last 2 years and failed to win. And he literally has no more assets on his team. Like this is it. This is all he had left. Adam, Dameon Pierce is by far and away the youngest piece on his team. I have his 23 picks. I have his 24 picks. And now I got his 25 pick as well. So we're just loading up on Little Man futures.
So that's the other piece of this trade that I think doesn't get talked about a lot. When you and I are looking to do deals like this, right, on the rebuild, when it's a dumpster rebuild, if I'm going to target those later first, I want it from the old crusty team. Now, in fairness, Little Man's like, I don't care about that 25 first right now because I'm going to get the money now. Maybe that's the case. But a lot of these older crusty builds, man, think about how much has changed in a few years. We did a podcast about how much changed in 5 years. 3 years from now, if he's really old and crusty and doesn't make a ton of moves, that 25 first could be a really nice asset.
Yeah, it might be the 101. That's I'm pretty sure that the 24 pick and possibly the 23 pick that I have as well might be the 101. So I don't want to dog him too much, but we're looking all right, buddy.
I like it, man. I like it. I think I'm very curious to see what the people think about this one too.
I'm good, man. Just send them away while you still can, right?
Yeah.
Send them away, get that first and a second, and I don't think you're getting a 23 first in a second. If you can get just a single 23 first, perfect.
Yep.
But sometimes you got to dig a little deeper, right? You got to go out a little bit farther to get what you want. All right, Adam. Next deal. This one hurts my soul. It really hurts my soul. We got Zay Jones, Bailey Zappi, and Mac Jones being acquired for a 23 first and a 24 third. Adam, I would say in one quarterback league, I want the pick side because Mac Jones probably ain't worth a first in a one QB league. In a Superflex league, this is downright egregious, buddy. It's downright egregious.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think in best ball, I don't think it's very close at all. I think in start 9, if that pick is early, like it's going to be a top 3-4 pick, I think I could maybe see it. Yeah, outside of that, though, Mike, right? Like if it's more mid to late, I think I'd much prefer Mac Jones. I do know that, people project him not to be a much more than a quarterback too, but even still, Mike, in Superflex, I think that the scarcity of quarterback, if that's a late 23 first, I just want Mac Jones. Like I would need more than that for this. And then I don't know if this trade was made before or after the LaVisca trade, but hell, like if we're talking best ball, Mike, Zay Jones is a dart in best ball that I'm fine with, for the third. So like I think Flair Spion, if that's a pick that's got a chance to be a top 4 type pick, I see what you're doing. Otherwise, I think sometimes maybe you get a little too cute. I would prefer the Mac Jones side.
Yeah, just straight up Mac Jones is the first. I'll take Mac Jones. And like you said, unless I knew for certain that's the first half of the draft first. If it's there, we could have a conversation about it. We really could, but I'm kind of probably going to lean, maybe wrongfully so, towards Mac Jones and the quarterback production. I'm not as scared off by some of the stuff coming out of New England with him and Matt Patricia being the offensive play caller at him. But, man, we're talking Superflex leagues. Quarterback's a tough position to go get. We talk about single first for way worse quarterbacks than Mac Jones sometimes. And, the guy's going in the 4th, 5th round of startups. Young, highly efficient last year, had a good year. I don't anticipate it getting worse. I guess maybe if you buy into the whole Matt Patricia narrative, it gets worse. But I don't know, man. It just seemed egregious to me that's all you got for a quarterback in Superflex.
I would agree with you, too. I like just on a surface trade, right? If I just look at this on the surface, like I prefer Mac over a random late 23 first. Mike, let me ask you one more question before we dip out of here. I just want to make sure we cover all the bases with this.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in a rebuild and you're pick hoarding, and this gives you like half. Does that? Now, I'm not saying it should monumentally change the trade. I'm just asking, does that change at all your thinking on it?
No.
Okay.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't move the needle all that much for me either. Maybe a little bit, but I think I still would just say I'll take Mac, and I still have 523 first, right? Like I don't need that extra piece of leverage there.
With what we know right now, what we're operating, because this trade was made recently, so this is what we know right now, Adam.
Correct.
Outside of C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, do you feel comfortable wagering that you're going to get a quarterback better than Mac Jones with a mid-first pick next year?
I think the upside of like a Richardson could be higher, but as far as wagering, like knowing today what I know now, I think it's much safer that Mac Jones is definitely the quarterback next year. Where, listen, I love the tantalizing upside of a Richardson or a Levis, right? But I think they have to prove still this year before we know that happens to them going first round even.
And then we're also talking about guys who may not walk into day one starting jobs. So from a production standpoint, you're missing out on this entire year and God knows how much of next year.
Right.
You're setting yourself back a year and a half. That's a lot to give up just to kind of re-roll.
Yeah, I think, Mike, you make a good point there with the production. We need to think about that. Even as great as the 23 picks are, if you're planning to draft the player and put them in your lineup, understand all these guys might take some time to develop, right? It's not that often that you get the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, absolute smash rookie season. I mean, hell, even Mike, Jonathan Taylor, as great as he is, had a bad rookie season starting off. There was panic on him. So, like, understand that from the 23 first pick side. I think Flair's beyond. The other thing I would say is I'm okay doing this if you're getting a different plus, right? Like, Mike, if there's a different plus in here, I'm having a different conversation. Just the single 23 first and a third and 24, I'm good.
Yep. Yeah, it's a hard pass for me, man.
Yeah, let's move on, man. Let's talk about another deal here. It's a big one. It's a very big deal.
This is a big deal here. We got Travis Etienne, Kadarius Toney, a 23 third, a 24 first, and a 24 second being acquired for Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Derrick Henry, and Hassan Haskins. I look at all these pieces, and there's just one that doesn't fit him, and it's Hassan Haskins just kind of stands out like a sore thumb. But what do you think? Do you want ETN, Toney, a first, a second, and a third, or do you want the package of vets? Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think there's a few different ways you could break this down, right? So if I just start trying to do this one-for-one type thing, right? I would say that the 24 first for Brady, like if I'm rebuilding, I'm taking a first for Brady. I know that that's going to seem crazy because of how good he is on the production side, but Father Time is so close to running out on this guy. You got to just take the first, I think, if you're rebuilding. Okay, so then I prefer ETN over Henry, especially if I'm rebuilding, right? The assets are telling you it's a rebuild and a contender push. So I prefer ETN over Henry there. Then I think where you get to the discussion, Mike, is now Evans for Toney in a second. I think on a rebuild, I'm still okay with that because of the age. I think you probably would prefer just a first outright for Evans, but if I'm getting Toney and a second, like that's probably 2 seconds in value, maybe a little higher, so it's close. Then like I'm taking a third for Haskins. I'm taking almost anything for Haskins, right? So I think this is actually a slight win for Castle Black in my opinion for the rebuild. But honestly, when I look at the other side too, Mike, like I'm moving off of ETN Toney in a first and 24 and a second and 24, and I'm getting fucking. Granted, there is some risk here, but a older stud in Henry, an older stud in Brady, and his guy, to give you the stack with Evans. Like I think this is a well constructed deal, man. I do. Like if I'm rebuilding, I like Castle Black side a lot, but I totally see how the other side appeals to. We don't know what ETN is. We don't know what Toney is. I'm getting off picks in 24, and I got 3 pieces because that 4th piece is garbage, but 3 pieces to make a good push here.
Yeah, it's one of the few deals, it seems like lately, that we've seen that I like for both sides, and it's a clear direction pick for both people, right? There's a rebuild side and there's a contender side. Now, I'm with you, like just looking at it, I like the contender side as well, and that's liking the contender side without being as high on Derrick Henry as a lot of people. Like that's being below consensus on Derrick Henry. My only caveat to the trade was I think it's well constructed for most people. If I'm on the contending side and getting Derrick Henry, there's no way I'm letting you sneak in Hassan Haskins like as a handcuff to me. Like just here you go. So I'm gonna need an extra third so you get the handcuff. Like, no thanks. I'll pass. I'll keep my third. Like I'm not doing this bullshit.
Yeah, that's clear. That the contender here was taking Haskins in as a handcuff mentality, and it's clear that the guy on the other side, our patron, knows that we're not really into handcuffing, whether that's in Dynasty Fantasy Football or at the club. We're good, man. No cuffing.
Yeah, no cuffing. All right, Adam, the next one we got some preseason darlings, some training camp darlings. We got Romeo Doubs, George Pickens, and Isaiah Likely being acquired for Rashad Bateman and Jeremy Ruckert. Oh man, we got some people in here. We got a Pickens and we got a Bateman sighting. This is gonna get you going, buddy. What do you feel about this?
Man, Mike, this is interesting. I saw a lot of chatter in the Dynasty Trade Show channel. I know I went like, you know what, all this talk, like we need to have a talk. I pinned it to the channel, right? We need to have a talk here.
I see it.
Mike, here's the thing. I'm very bullish on Pickens. You know from the beginning I was a little higher than some people right after the draft happened. I'm not in on like if I miss on Romeo Doubs, man, I'm gonna be okay with myself. Now, people are in on him for some reason and think that there's this big upside and he could pop. I'm not betting on that. If I miss on that, I'm okay, right? Mike, I think really when I look at this deal, like the Doubs and the Likely and the Ruckert, I kind of just remove because they're not needle movers on either player for me. I think this comes down to strictly Pickens and Bateman. Long term, am I going to tell you Pickens can't be an absolute stud? I'm not going to do that. But I think the situation and what I know about the two guys right now, fuck, man, even on a rebuild, I think I want Bateman over Pickens. So I like Pickens just fine, but I think that sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves on the upside of Pickens, which I think is great. But let's not ignore that Bateman has the upside, but also has the situation today, and they're both very similar in age. So I'm taking Bateman here. Evan, I know it's not often you get this, but man, I'm with you here, buddy. Give me Rashad Bateman.
I do love Evan's side of this. I love the Bateman. I'm with you too. Camp hype's fun, man. I like to talk about it, and it's nice to see George Pickens play well. It's nice to see it, but let's not get over our skis here, right? He's still a rookie. He's still in a offense that has some question marks, right? How's the quarterback situation going to play out? How's that offensive line going to hold up? What's it really look like with target distribution with Deontay, a guy that we really love there? Chase Claypool's still there, and our boy Pat Fryerman is still there. Najee Harris soaking up some targets out of the backfield. Bateman's in like the most clear-cut situation it is. It's him and Mark Andrews, and that is it. No matter what you want to think about Isaiah Likely, cool, had a nice preseason. I'm not really buying into it, Adam. Like, I know you liked him going into the draft process, but there was a lot of things that came out of it when he did athletic testing where you're like,
Pause.
wow, I got a lot
Pause.
of pause. I mean, we got
Yeah.
some really bad athletic testing out of a guy whose game was built around being athletic. At least that's what we thought.
That's part of the problem. Like, we assumed athleticism, but then it turned out maybe he looked athletic at a small school, and relative to the NFL level, when you did athletic testing, he wasn't that athletic.
Yeah, I'm going with the Scott Connor approach with the tight ends, right? You got these RAS benchmarks to hit, or you have this 40 benchmark to hit, and he hits neither of them. So I'm not interested at all. Like, I don't really care what you did in the pre. He comes out and does this in the regular season games, Adam. Like the first couple weeks, now you have my attention. Like, all right, maybe I need to throw this bullshit out the window. It just doesn't matter. He's just good at football.
Yeah.
Cool. Preseason against backups, third stringers, guys who are cut, guys who are looking for jobs right now. No. Romeo Dubs, nice story. Nice story. But one of the big things, I mean, I checked out Charles Chill, right? That's Scott's alter ego, I think. I don't know what it is, but Dynasty and Chill podcast he did with Derek Brown, D-Bro. Listening to it today on the way to work and then on my way to class, electrical class, for you, those of you out there wondering, yes, your boy's still in school, some of it. But was checking it out, and one of the things he was talking about was the Romeo Dubs and Christian Watson. Ray, and Derek were there at the Senior Bowl. They got to see both of those guys in person, in practice, against DBs. There wasn't a question who the better wide receiver between Romeo Dubs and Christian Watson was, and now they're on the same team in the NFL. And because Christian Watson's kind of been banged up, it's like giving Romeo Dubs this time to elevate a little bit. Like, it's a nice story, man. Maybe it bumps up a little bit, but I'm not getting over my skis, just kind of like the George Pickens thing or the Isaiah Likely thing. This is all like hype trade on one side, and this is what we actually know, that Rashad Bateman's good at football and going to perform well this year, just by default, just because there's nobody else in that offense to throw the football to other than Mark Andrews. So
Yeah.
Bateman by a mile.
Yeah.
Not even close for me.
I'm with you. I want Bateman here. I think like to your point, right? If it's a deep best ball roster, like I got no problem rostering Isaiah Likely in that format, but he's not moving the needle for me in a trade. And I'm,
No.
if I was on a shorter team, like if the rosters are shorter, let's talk like 25, 28, 30, I'm cutting them. So that's like the reality, I think, for me with Likely. Dubs, like I'd probably roster him even when it's 30 roster spots, but I'm not moving the needle again on a trade like this. This is Rashad Bateman. We can probably move on.
Adam, even if you put like a value on these, right? Romeo Dubs, Isaiah Likely, if we both said there were second round picks, Pickens in 2 seconds for Rashad Bateman. You even thinking about it?
I'm having a conversation there, but I think I still just would take Bateman.
That's me being ultimate bullish on the value of Romeo Dubs.
We both, everybody here, you and I can admit that those guys are not both getting you seconds too, right? Like you said,
Yes.
That's you being bullish. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, buddy. I think this is a Evan smash, buddy. Congrats, man. Nice trade for you, Evan. I think long term Pickens could be fine, but I want Bateman today.
I feel it. All right, next one we got T. Higgins and Cam Akers. being acquired for Drake London, Isaiah Spiller, and a 23 first. Adam, man, you know how much I love Isaiah Spiller, and I like first. I'm going to have a hard time trying to play devil's advocate on this other side. I'm just going to say it. What do you feel about it? I know which side you're on.
I was going to
There's
say,
a Cam Akers sighting.
There's a reason you're thinking of playing the devil's advocate side, because you know damn well, Ty, you know damn well, audience, everybody listening on podcasts and watching, you know damn well what side I want. Give me – all right, Mike. Break this down, though, before I get to my Cam Akers love. T. Higgins over London, correct?
By quite a bit.
Okay. Spiller, I think. Well, what just happened today?
Yeah.
What just happened today? Let's discuss it real quick. I don't like it, but let's talk about it.
Sony Michel signing with the Chargers.
It's interesting that it's a Cam Akers in the deal, because people were saying how Sony Michel was the better back last year when he came back, right? And now all of a sudden we got that nonsense going over to the Isaiah Spiller side of this. I'm not out on Spiller like for Dynasty long term, but I do think like immediate production wise, this is going to render him pretty tough to see a ton of field time without injuries.
And he was already struggling with, Larry Roundtree and Joshua Kelly, which
wouldn't that signal that he was struggling with them because they bring in Sony Michel immediately on a plane as soon as he gets cut from Miami?
Yes.
So let's be fair. And then now if it's just a random 23 first, and I see that Ty's sending away his pick, so with what he's doing, getting T. Higgins and Akers, I'm assuming he's contending. And if that's a late 23 first or Cam Akers, you know damn well I want Cam Akers. I don't know how to defend the other side, buddy. If you want to try, I'll let you do it. I'll mute off, and then when you're done, I'm going to crap your face. But I will definitely let you try if you want to.
No.
Okay,
Let's move on. I'm already sad just thinking about Isaiah Spiller just not being what I wanted Isaiah Spiller to be.
I mean, me and you both, though. We had Isaiah Spiller very high. But here's the thing, Mike. Today is today, right? Like, we know that
today.
You know what,
Mike? The ceiling is the roof.
Let's move on to another deal before I get saying something stupid.
All right, we got a 23 first, a 24 first, a 25 first, a 23 second, and a 24 second being acquired for Deshaun Watson and Cole Kmet. Adam, our boy Koopa Troopa, made this deal. He got all these picks, 3 firsts and 2 seconds. He sent away his Deshaun Watson and 1 Cole Kmet. You're the Deshaun Watson guy. You're the Cleveland Browns guy. Again, which side do you want here, buddy?
Why they got to do this, Mike? I gotta tell you how Isaiah Spiller's in trouble. Now I gotta go against my Browns guy that we don't even get to see play for 11 games. Mike, all right, let me start here then. If Deshaun Watson's playing football today, what do you have to pay him? What do you have to pay to get him?
If he's playing football, he's kicking off next Sunday.
Yeah, he's playing week 1.
This is the price.
That's the point. If he's playing week 1, you got to pay at least 3 firsts for him, right? Or roughly that. I think that's probably the range.
Yeah, and because some of these are 25 and 24 and they're pushed out a little bit, you're going to have to add a second or two on.
Okay. Now here's the wheel. Now here's the thing, right? I'm all about getting a guy, whether it's hurt and you can project long-term usage. Like at Watson, we project to play for a while still. I'm about doing that on a suspension or when he's hurt or whoever. Regardless of the off-the-field stuff, I think it's just the prudent move if you know he's going to come back and play. If there's a discount.
Yeah, there's no discount here,
Mike,
buddy.
You're not getting a discount here in my opinion. Now,
no.
If you're saying, listen, I know for a fact in 12 games he's going to be worth more than this, that's fine. But you know what else? These picks all accrued value too. That 23 first, while Watson's sitting, your team better be fucking winning because guess what, Mike? If that 23 first now is a top 6 pick, what are we talking about now, right?
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
And then let's just even say, Mike, if I broke this down and you tell me 3 of these firsts are going to Watson, 2 to Kmet, I could see the value there and why you would say that if he's playing football. But again, without getting a discount, why am I buying Watson right now if I'm not getting a discount?
I get you. I do like to buy injured players or suspended players, but the key word is at a discount, man. That's what you're talking about. That's why I go bargain bin shopping. This is why I want to buy Antonio Gibson. He's at a discount. I think he's worth more than what market says right now. So I will go out and buy as many shares as I can. J.K. Dobbins. People are losing their minds on J.K. Dobbins. Again, I will go out and see what it takes to acquire him. I'm trying to get him at a discount of where I think he could be. If you're telling me, man, I got to go out and pay 2 firsts for Antonio Gibson, like right now, why? What's the point? There's so many other things I can go that are actually going to be higher.
Right.
And in the case of Deshaun Watson, there's other things I can spend 3 firsts and 2 seconds on that are actually going to play. That
I think is probably the biggest criticism here is that regardless if you're the curb stomper, which I think we're going to have to curb stomp this man or woman, whoever it is, the curb stomper, like if you're going to spend your entire future, which is basically what this is, shy of your 25 second, like I'm going to get something that's giving me points, man. This is your whole future. This is everything Sleeper allows you to trade but the 25 second.
Probably petitioning to see if we could get like a 26.
Yeah, watch attached in the Sleeper chat, pinned, 26 first included.
We're going to pin it. Adam, yeah. Give me the pick side by a landslide. I don't think it's relatively close.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, last deal we got for you. Juju Smith-Schuster, Breece Hall, and Sky Moore. Interesting. 2 receivers off the same team. Juju, Breece Hall, and Sky Moore for T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, and there's that man again, Romeo Doubs. Mama, there goes that man. Adam, what do you feel about this one?
Romeo's being tossed around, man. Oh, wow. All right, so Ray G style, right? Best player in the deal. I don't care who you are, what your affinity is for receivers or running backs is Breece Hall.
For sure.
I think the second best are pretty easily T. Higgins and third best Michael Pittman, right?
Correct. Yep.
Here's where I have the problem, though, Mike. Like if you're a receiver guy or if you just want a down tier and you have the running back depth, like I could give you going to get those 2 receivers for Breece Hall. I could do it, especially because if you're worried Breece Hall immediately doesn't produce, he's going to be more of a long-term play. Fine.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, Mike. Now we're looking at Juju and Sky Moore that, as of right now, I mean, we're talking basically, the receiving corpse of KC outside of Travis Kelce for Romeo Doubs.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm way back on fantasy football side here. I want Breece Hall here, man. Like, because you could also look at this as I'm basically tearing down on 2 receivers to get Breece Hall for Romeo Doubs. So I'm definitely in on that other side.
I was trying to break it down like T. Higgins and Pittman for, let's say, Breece Hall and Sky Moore, right? I get to upgrade and go from a wide receiver to a running back. So, of course, I got to pay the piper, right? I got to go from Michael Pittman down to Sky Moore or Juju, whoever the hell you have ranked higher, doesn't really matter to me. But then literally that leaves one other guy where you're looking at like this dude straight up for Romeo Doubs, whether it's Juju or Sky Moore. Holy Santa Claus shit. I would never do that in a billion years. Oh, that's gotten crazy. But hey, some people are big wide receiver guys. So maybe they look at it like maybe there's somebody out who has T. Higgins over Breece Hall. Maybe. I don't.
I would say maybe you have someone that has them even with, right?
Or close. Okay.
I could see that.
Man. And then
but then you're paying Juju and Sky Moore to go get Pittman.
No thanks. No thanks. I guess. I mean, that's like the best way I could be like devil's advocate on this deal, man.
Let me say this too. All right. If I was going to try to give you the devil's advocate like you were saying for the Cam Akers one, if I had to do it here, if you had running back depth, start 9. Start 9, Mike.
Man, I'd have to be an ultimate contender, but then why the fuck is Romeo Doubs in this deal?
Give me something. Maybe it's like one of those, we've had these where it's like, damn it, I don't want to pay you this. You got to give me something. Just anything to make me feel a little better about it. And they was like, here, Romeo Doubs is hyped. I'm not saying I'm trying my hardest to play devil's advocate the other
I
side.
know.
I'm just saying, like, realistically, if it's start 9, Mike, and you have to press the button, do you think that there's a chance that you'd be more comfortable pressing the button on T. Higgins and Michael Pittman every single week if you had running back depth?
Yeah, maybe. I just, man.
This would really be against the grain for what I want to do. But I guess that's the only way I could try to like make a case for it for the way I play.
It is antithetical to everything I do in Dynasty. Let's just be honest about it, buddy. It is. Right. I guess maybe in a bizarro world, or maybe one of these best ball leagues we're doing with the patrons, where like I go off the rails and go like 0 RB, all wide receiver strat just to try something different.
Right.
But I'm just going to tell you, it sucks. Like, it hurts me to do it. Like, I get the shakes. I got to press the button. No.
you know I'm not a Juju guy, too. And I think there's a realm of possibility Juju's a top 24 receiver this year, too.
There's a very good realm of possibility that could happen.
Yeah. So.
And this, like you said, this is coming from the anti-Juju guy. I'm the pro-Juju guy.
Right.
So take his word more than mine.
Well,
believe him.
I think fantasy football, if you got the Breece Hall and the 2 receivers there, I think you're going to feel good about it.
Listen, I like it for you, buddy.
Yeah, if you prefer the other side, let us know in the comments. Let us know in Discord, Twitter, wherever else. If you're not on, YouTube, let us know. We want to know what you think about how we graded the deals, what you think about the deals. We're going to keep coming back, bringing these every single week, Mike. You know we will.
We definitely will be back every single week. And if you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, what the hell are you doing with your life? Gets tweeted out every Friday. Get your ass in there and sign up. Do it now. I will put the link in the description below on YouTube, and hopefully it'll be in the notes on your podcast form as well. But if not, check out 4Ds that comes out on Friday, 4D Chess Podcast. It definitely will be in that show description in there. Get your ass signed up for that newsletter. All kinds of free stuff in there. And make sure you're tapping into everything Destination Devy is doing. We are going to be doing big things this year. Lots of exciting stuff coming at you real soon. So pay attention and stay tuned. But that's going to do it for us. We're going to bounce out of here. Peace.